Hey traders, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to go over one of the hottest stocks of 2021, a stock I've been playing personally since the beginning of January. It's AMC, and I'm going to use 8 different indicators that show why I'm very bullish on where this stock is headed next week and why we could see the beginning of a potential squeeze. So without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so first up, as far as indicators go, we want to take a look at the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. This is one of the most basic technical indicators that professional traders use to understand whether we are in bullish or bearish territory. And what's really important when looking at the VWAP is seeing where AMC closed on the week. So this is on the 30-minute. You can see that we closed above the VWAP. That means the bulls are in control heading into the start of next week. This has not been the case for AMC in the past 4 weeks. So this is a big kind of shift in tide that really shows that, if the bulls, do indeed come out on Monday and AMC has another strong day, we could be in for a really positive week. But, everybody looking at the charts over the weekend, experienced traders, whales with lots of money, they see this and they're going to be excited to potentially play AMC next week. The second indicator I want to take a look at is the 21 EMA and the 50 SMA. Okay, these are, different types of moving averages. The EMA is the exponential moving average. The 50 SMA is the simple moving average. These are kind of the intermediate level moving averages that a lot of experienced traders use to once again kind of figure out whether we are in bullish or bearish territory. And the good news here is that AMC, after the strong second half of last week, we closed above the 21 EMA and above the 50 SMA. So you can see here the purple line is the 21-day EMA. That's at 983, and the SMA is right here, that light blue line at 947. We are well above those two. That means that the bulls have reclaimed control. We are once again in bullish territory. So, those whales with big money, they're going to see all those signs on the charts and they're going to be interested in playing the stock, which could lead to the start of the squeeze. All right, the next thing we want to take a look at is just the support and resistance levels heading into next week. So starting with the support, the first main level is going to be $10. That's an obvious, huge psychological barrier. Being above that, being in the double digits, is going to be a huge step for the bulls. If we are able to hold that, then that just means we're going to want to continue our progress in the double digits. So we saw on Thursday, after the initial push, we actually tested a support level here around 1044, went above it, went below it. But then we came back to test the support, and we were able to hold that pretty much throughout all of Friday without avail. We were able to kind of stick around that $10 range, and then we kind of pushed up later in the day. So, that's very strong. Being in the double digits, once again, that's a huge psychological barrier that needs to be broken. And, staying above it is going to be key support for AMC to continue its growth. But we also have, some resistance down here around 950 and $9.10. You see earlier in the week when, the market was looking shaky, AMC was kind of following the market trends. We tested support here around 910. We're able to hold that. Then we pushed above, went to test that support at 950. We're able to hold that. And then the market kind of turned bullish and we were able to start pushing upwards. So those are going to be your key support levels. Now taking a look at resistance levels. Let me just zoom out a little bit. All right. So the first key level we're going to look at is right here around that 1044, 1050 range. We kind of tested that a little bit earlier in the week and weren't able to successfully break it. However, I do expect a retest on Monday, and moving forward from there, we're going to see that 1075 test, which was kind of a big level coming down after the last big push up in early April. And finally, this has been kind of a pesky range here, the $11.10 to $11.25 range. We've been trying to break above that a few different times and failed to do so. However, if we do get a clean break above that $11.25 range, the low 1120s, there is really nothing stopping this from kind of just gapping all the way up back into, the $13, $14 range. So once again, very bullish on those resistance and support levels, especially closing above that $10 range. Let's shift our focus a little bit to unusual options activity going on in AMC, specifically looking at, where the big money, the whales were buying options this past Friday. I use unusualwhales.com and the flow to kind of look at that. I moved the size up to at least 200 calls because this is where, real big money is starting to play. And taking a look at this, you see some selling calls, some buying puts. However, what I want you guys to take a look at is specifically the options that were being bought with the expiration date of 4:30. So next Friday, and where big money kind of sees AMC going. So when we're looking at those 4:30 expiration dates, we saw a bunch of calls come in for a $12 strike, meaning, the bulls think it will close above $12. We saw a bunch for $9. I don't think AMC should have a problem at all closing above $9. And we also saw a bunch of 11.5. So these are all very, very bullish, saying that, we're going to break above that 11.5. We're going to break above that 12, knowing that once we do that, we have a pretty easy path to get to that $13, $14 range. And, those 11.5 strikes, those $12 strikes are going to, print a lot of money for whoever was buying those options. We also did see, somebody selling $18 calls. I don't really read too much into that. $18 is a bit of an aggressive target anyway for next week. But yeah, just looking at those 11.5, $9, and $12 strikes, I think that shows that, the bulls are, the whales rather are, betting pretty heavily on AMC to have a pretty good week in the next coming week. All right. The next thing I want to take a look at is whether the short squeeze is plausible. So we're just going to go over some numbers I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with at this time. Starting off on Fintel, looking at the short share availability, that's at 0. That's exactly what you want to see if you're betting on a short squeeze. If people are shorting, they're naked shorting, they're overextended on their shorting, they're doing everything they can to try to keep the price down, and yet they're still failing. That's perfect. And also looking at that short borrow fee rate, we see that's currently at NA, which I've never seen before, but that's got to be a pretty good sign, because what we saw early in the week, some pretty crazy numbers as far as the short borrow fee rate goes. I mean, all the way up into the high 20 percentile. These shorts are bleeding, and especially after days like Thursday and Friday, where we just have strong growth and they have to, keep paying that fee on their short positions. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. And as AMC continues to go up, this coming week, they're just going to continue to bleed. And at one point, enough is enough. You have to realize you're overextended, you're fighting a losing battle. And I expect these shorts to start covering. Ortex just confirms we have that 100% utilization. That is insane. These shorts are really trying to do everything they can to keep this price down. They just keep trying to short it down, and it is still not working. And eventually their time is running out. We're seeing, we're kind of reaching a boiling point as far as that goes. And once again, we'll go to Finviz now to confirm it. 31.68% short float. And keep in mind, yes, when AMC initially squeezed in January, the short float percent was much higher. But look at how much the overall float has expanded since, that initial January squeeze. It's almost 3 times bigger, and we still have 31% short. That's a lot of shares being shorted. That's a lot of people that are just simply overextended on the short side. And so if the price continues to rise, which, the charts and the technicals are saying it's going to do, that's so many shares that need to be covered and need to be bought back. And, the shorts are going to have to hedge their positions. And so that is a very positive sign heading into next week. The time is running out for the shorts. And finally, taking a look at all of this, what you really have to keep in mind, what's impressive about AMC's rise this week in price is the volume. Okay, this was a very low volume week for not just AMC, for the market as a whole. We've been kind of in a little bit of a market correction, bearish market over the past, few weeks. Really, not much going on, and we see these volume numbers over this week and over the past few weeks, kind of just being very low compared to where we were just in a month ago, really, where we had these 100 million dollar or 100 million volume days, these 200 million volume days. And we just really haven't seen anywhere near as close a volume. But what we are seeing is that the price continues to rise. And so heading into next week, um, I'm optimistic about this because I do believe that volume is going to start to pour back into the market. Mainly just because Thursday and Friday were really strong days for the market as a whole. We started to see kind of a return to bullish activities. We started to see these runners that did have volume pumping into it, OCGN, TCAT, SYPN, these were stocks that ran like 100% in a day or two. And so, we're starting to kind of return to our bullish ways. I think we're right now, kind of seeing a shift in market sentiment. And so I expect that to continue to next week. I expect volume to increase, and that's only going to lead to even better price action, even more bullish movement for AMC. So that being said, we took a look at the chart with the VWAP, with the moving averages, with the support and the resistance. We took a look at the unusual options activity. We took a look at all of the short data available, and we took a look at the volume. And across the board, we're seeing positive signs for AMC everywhere. This should be a great week coming up. But let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, if you have any questions. This is my first video ever. So also, if you could do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more of that. And I'll talk to you guys soon.